All right. Good afternoon, everyone. It is 1 o'clock on a beautiful Monday. So let's go ahead and get started so that hopefully you can get back outside to enjoying this gorgeous day. Or, I don't know, maybe you're out on your deck watching this webinar, which would be amazing. Wish I was there. So, okay, just a couple FYIs before we dive into the content. My name is Lissa Evans, the training department. You've got me on hand today. We're going to go over G Suite and all it has to offer, just kind of a quick introduction to some of the basics there. Everyone who is on the call or in the webinar is currently muted, and that's just so we can cut down on background noise. If you have a question, you can use the questions panel, kind of like in your menu bar, and type in a question, and it goes just to us directly. And then if we need to address it to the whole group, we will do that. Otherwise, we'll send you a private reply. If you are, getting ready to type a question or just kind of like need a pause, hold up, I'm trying to think this through, you can use that raise hand function, also available like in your menu bar, and that just lets us know that maybe you're getting ready to type a question or we need to go back and show what we just did. So make sure you locate those two options in your side or top menu bar, wherever it is these days. Okay, so let's talk about G Suite. So first of all, whenever we talk about G Suite, what we're talking about is the whole line of Google products available to you. G Suite includes your Tucker Gmail, your calendar, your Google Drive, but it also includes Google Sheets, Google Docs, Google Keep, like just all those variety of products. There are a ton of products available to you through G Suite, and we want to make sure that you are taking advantage of all of them. So I'm on my dashboard right now, my Okta dashboard, and from here I can get into, as I'm sure you're used to doing, my Gmail, my Drive, my calendar. Just a reminder, these icons, you can move them around. So I think the calendar starts off like in a funny place. You can move it somewhere more convenient or wherever your eyes go first. So this is where you can access some of those G Suite items like Drive or Calendar. I'm going to go into my Gmail, because the other way you can access all of those G Suite products is just if you go into any of them, like my Gmail, up here in the top right corner is what we refer to fondly as the waffle. It's that 3x3 grid. And if you click on that, it will show you a wide variety of Google products available to you. You can, again, move those around as well. And so if I wanted to get to Drive, I could do that right from here. I click it, opens in a new tab. I can go to Sheets, I can go to Docs, Calendar, my contacts, whatever I need right from here. So I think it's generally easier to use the waffle there just because, I don't know about you guys, but I'm always sitting in my email. So it's nice and quick just to kind of pop that open and go to where I need to go. A note about these products when it comes to your mobile device. There is an Okta mobile app you can download, and it is a mobile version of what you see here. But when it comes to the G Suite product, like, again, all those products available to you, like Sheets and Drive and Calendar, we recommend on your mobile devices you download those individual apps. So instead of trying to go into your Gmail through Okta Mobile and then clicking into Sheets from there, just download the Sheets app and download the Drive app and the Calendar app. They're going to work so much better on your phone than trying to get to them some other way, like through your email or through Okta Mobile or whatever. So just download those apps. Okay? Cool. So we are in Gmail. Hopefully everyone's pretty familiar with Gmail by now because we've been using it for a little while. Just a couple reminders regarding Gmail. If you go into your account settings, make sure you have your, I'm going to scroll down, email signature set up. I always recommend also, if you have that pretty image signature, make sure you have a space or two before it. That way it never gets bumped up too close to text in front of it. And then make sure you also have this little box checked, and that's what includes your signature when you reply to an email. Below that, just a couple sections below, is the vacation responder. So if you're going to be out of the office and away from email, or even out of the office and just maybe slower to respond to email than normal, it's not a bad idea to go ahead and turn that on. You can go ahead and set your first day, your last day, and include a message in there about, I'll be out of the office, please contact this person, or I'll be away from, or I'll have limited access to email, so I apologize for delays in replies, anything like that. So that's the vacation responder. That's where it is. We also want to, let me see where they put it. I also want to point out two cool little features up here that not everyone is aware of, so you can turn these on if you want. The first one is this default reply behavior. So this is what lets you, if you have a bad habit of not clicking reply all when you should, and I know some of you have that habit because I'm on those email threads, this is where you can say, okay, by default, if there are multiple people in an email thread, reply to all. So when you hit the reply button, it'll automatically go reply to all. Or if you're trying to be careful about who you're replying to, you can set your default as just reply, and then you have to specify when you want to reply to all. Personally, I love having it set on reply to all. It's just one less thing I have to think about. Right above that, undo send. This is a lifesaver. So this is where you can set a time period, and it's 5, 10, 20, or 30 seconds, so not a ton of time, where after you hit send on an email, you have the ability to say undo. So this is really useful if you, I don't know, I'm sometimes click happy, or I hit send before I actually finished a thought, or I had one more thing to include. And instead of sending another email saying, oh, sorry, I forgot this point, when I think of it, because it always, occurs to me as soon as I hit send, I can hit undo. And it pulls that email back, and I can add my additional thoughts or whatever it is. Or, maybe you're sending a not quite so polite email to another agent, and you hit send, and then you go, oh, goodness, what was I thinking? I shouldn't have done that. Hit undo. So it's that oh crap period where you can pull a message back and not send it, or modify it and then send it. So I recommend you turn that on. All right. I'm going to go back into my inbox. And then just the only other reminder when it comes to Gmail, because again, everyone should be pretty familiar with sending, receiving emails, things like that. Make sure you're using your labels. Labels are the equivalent of folders if you used Outlook or some other mail platform before. The difference is that you can apply multiple labels to one message. So this down here, I have the ASAP label applied to it. I could also, if I wanted to, apply Alyssa to do, or it's part of the buzz, whatever it is, and then I could find this message in any of those categories. Also, don't underestimate the joy of archiving messages. So this message here is labeled, these 3 labels here, or these 3 tags. And now if I archive it, it's going to take it out of the inbox. So sight unseen, it helps me keep my inbox nice and clean, but I can always find that message again by searching for it up at the top here, or by going to one of those labels, and there it is. So just make sure you're making use of your labels, and you can nest labels in labels and so on, but they'll really help you stay organized. Okay. So looking at some of the other GSuite products out there, the next big one is Google Drive. Drive is amazing. Drive is cloud-based storage. So what that means is it's whatever you save in Drive, you can access from any computer with an internet connection, or from your phone if you have a data or Wi-Fi connection. So all this stuff travels with you. Because you have a Tucker account, you have unlimited free storage. All right, let's just say that again. Unlimited free storage in Google Drive. That's amazing. So that means you can please stop saving things to your desktop on your computer, and then when you are at your office and you don't have your laptop, or you're not at your desktop at home, and you're going, oh crap, I don't have that inspection response, or I don't have that copy of the inspection report, you don't have to say that anymore. It's in your Google Drive. Or if you're saving things to your laptop internal storage is getting full, your laptop's running slow, you don't have to worry about that. Or even worse, your laptop dies on you, or it's stolen, or ends up in the ocean, or whatever it might be. all those files that you've saved locally on your computer, so to your desktop or My Documents, those are gone because they're local. If you save stuff to Google Drive, it's always there, so you can, again, access it from anywhere. You can upload any type of file to Google Drive. You won't always be able to open any type of file. It just depends what program is on your computer. So if I upload an Excel file and then I am trying to work on a computer that doesn't have Excel, it's not going to let me do anything with it because I don't have the program, if that makes sense. But we're actually going to talk about Google Sheets, which is Google's version of Excel, which means you can work on a sheet from anywhere. So here in Drive, you can see I have a variety of folders, and down here are different files. Some of them are files I've uploaded, some are Google files. It's really easy to get new files into Google Drive or to create a new one. So I can simply, up here in the top left corner, click New, and then I can make a new folder. Or if I'm starting to transfer stuff like from my computer desktop, I can upload a whole folder at a time, or maybe I save something to my computer desktop just for a hot second. I can then select File Upload, and it will upload that file to my Google Drive. So that file is now in my Drive. And again, you can do the same thing with a folder. So if you, the example we tend to give is, hopefully in Google Drive, if you're not using it yet, or if you are, you have a clients folder, and if you're going to start using it, you make a folder called maybe Clients. And then within here, however you want to organize, whatever works best for you, maybe you have this broken down by year, maybe you have folders labeled last name and then what type of transaction that was, or by address and last name, whatever works for you. But if you have all these client files that currently live on your desktop on your computer, you can easily get them into your Drive. I would make a folder called Clients, and then from what's in here, I'd say New Folder Upload, and I navigate to where that folder is, and it will upload the entire folder for me in one swoop. Now, if you have like 3,000 documents in that folder, it's going to take a little bit of time, but it's still totally possible. So this is also a great option for backing up your photos or storing your listing photos in here, because then they're always with you. And again, if you're uploading those, it can just take a little bit of time. The other advantage of using Drive, take for example, listing photos or documents, anything like that, is sharing. So I can very easily share an entire folder or a specific document with someone, whether they are with Tucker or outside of Tucker. So within this, purchase folder, I could have a whole set of documents, and maybe I want to share this individual document with my client. I can simply right-click on that and hit Share and type in their email address. And then they're going to get an email that says I've shared this document with them. I can set their permission level. This is really, really important, okay? So if I'm going to share this with, my personal account. This is what the permission level is, and this is allowing that person to edit the document directly. You don't always want to do that. Sometimes you might want to allow them to comment on a document that you're working on, or they can just view it. It's up to you. So that's where you change the permission level, and you can also always change it again. So if I accidentally share something with can edit, and then I think, no, I didn't mean to do that, I can quickly go back and change it to view only. So we use that a lot with our new agents. We have a whole folder of documents and presentations we share with them during LEAP, and we don't give them edit access because we don't want anyone deleting one of those files by accident, or even adding their own files to that shared folder, or modifying any of the documents. So this document here that I was sharing as an example is a PDF, so it can't be modified anyway, but a lot of what we share with the new students, new agents, and some of what you might be sharing are interactive documents. They're timelines for the purchase, or an Excel or a Sheets document for estimated proceeds. And we don't want people editing that, because if one of our agents edits it, it's going to change it for everyone. We want them to have to make their own copy. So that's why we use view only. So I can share a document, or I could go back to the folder and click on it, and do a right click and share the whole folder. You can also get a shareable link, so I could email that to someone and say, click here to access your final pending documents, and sends a whole folder to my clients of all of their purchase-related documents. Just always be careful, because if I share this whole folder, they're literally going to get everything in it. So if I have like a note sheet in there where I've been taking notes, and any of those notes include something like, we've seen 55 houses, why won't they make a decision? OMG, they're going to be able to see that. So just be careful that when you share a folder, you really, take a look at what's in that folder and realize that you're sharing everything. Okay? So I'm going to go back to my Drive. All right. You also, within Drive, so what we're working in right now is my Drive. This is all my personal stuff. I also have a section called Shared with Me. So if someone shares a document with me, this is where it goes. It just helps kind of keep all those things separate. But if I need to move something from the Shared with Me into my Drive because it's something I'm accessing a lot, I can do that. That's not a problem. So those are the two sections. When it comes to kind of the next section of G Suite that I want to talk about, that would be Google Sheets and Google Docs and Google Slides, and that's Google's equivalent of Excel, Word, and PowerPoint. So when it comes to those products, when you need to make a new one or open one of those, you can always start right here from Drive. I can search for a document and open it. So here's a Slides. I could open that right from here. This is kind of a cool shortcut. I can just go to slides.google.com, and it takes me to my Slides dashboard, so I can see all of my different slides, which is PowerPoint, available to me. I can click on my waffle and click on Slides here. And if I want to make a new presentation or a new spreadsheet, again, from Drive, click on New, and then select a doc, a sheet, or a slide. Or, and this is pretty cool, I just recently learned this, I'm excited to share it with you guys. I create Google Docs a lot, and half the time they're just like random notes that I'm jotting down to myself during a phone call, or you're out on showings and you're jotting down comments that your clients are making. So if you do that in Docs, instead of like clicking here, going there, if you open a new tab and type docs.new or sheets.new or slides.new, that will create a new blank document for me. Pretty cool, huh? At least I think so. I hope you do too. So again, that shortcut was just docs.new. You can also use sheets.new and slides.new. So as you can see, Google Docs is Google's version of Microsoft Word. It works very, very similarly, so it's not a hard transition at all. Formatting bars are at the top. I can insert images, tables, header, footer, page breaks, any table of contents, anything you can do in Word, you can pretty much do here. The advantage, though, of doing it in here versus Microsoft Word is that, well, number one, Microsoft now charges you to use the Microsoft Suite, which is not cool, but whatever, whereas Google Docs is free. The second kind of benefit of using it is if this is a working document, how about I learn to spell? So if I have an accepted offer with clients, here's my timeline. So I have a whole list of dates, let's say, and timelines. If something changes, we have a new deadline, or I just want to add notes, I can do that right here in this document. And if I've shared this document with my clients, they're going to see the updated version. So unlike a Word document where I have to then email it to someone and say, hey, here's the newest version of this, this is a sort of living, breathing document, so they're always going to see the newest one. You can also, depending on how I share it with them, what type of permission, if I give them edit access, we can work on it together. So they can add notes about when they've done stuff, or they can just view what I'm doing. Now, Google Sheets, Drive, and Slides, it will save as you are going and working on the document, which is awesome. So you can see up here where it says all changes saved in Drive. I can also always click on that and see what changes were made. So if I do share this document with someone and later I go back and open it and realize half my timelines are missing, what happened? I can click on view these changes. I can see who made that change and tell them to stop touching my stuff. But also I can revert back to a previous version, which is really nice. I know, for example, if you have a document, say, of timelines that you use as a template, I don't always remember to make a copy of it so that I'm not editing my original, which I want to keep. It was for those clients. When you do that, you say File, make a copy, and then I do it for my new clients. And I don't always remember to do that, and so this lets me easily, when I'm halfway through the document and realize that I didn't make a copy, I can pause, I can make a copy now, and then I can go back to my changes and find an old version and revert back to it, which is really nice. In this document right here at the top, this is what the document is named. So right now it's just going to be called Untitled Document. It will pull the first line from your document. So if I click in there, it's pulled that first line. I can just keep that or I can modify it. It's saved in my general My Drive, but I can click on that folder icon and I can move it to a folder. I can also give it a star. So if it's something I'm using frequently, once I star it, back in My Drive, I have this section called Stars. Think of it like bookmarks that on your computer. These are things that it's going to take a second to show up, I bet. The documents I've starred are, I'm tired of searching for them. I use them a lot. Come on, work for me. Oh, I'm in my wrong account. That's in my personal account. Sorry, guys. Let's try this again. You know what? It just lived my personal account. You'll just have to trust me. Deal? Deal. Okay. So I would find that in my starred items down here, which are kind of my shortcut things that I go to a lot. All right. So that is Google Docs. The other thing I want to show you guys, and we're going to keep going through the Google Suite, but I want to show you this now. This link will also be emailed to you tomorrow from, I think it's from GoToWebinar. It's like a thank you for attending the webinar, and it includes a recording of this webinar and any notes that we include. And I did include a note that will go out to you, and it includes this link right here. So this link will take you to the GSuite Learning Center provided by Google, and you can learn by product. I really love that because it helps break the GSuite, all these applications into little bite-sized pieces. So if after today you're going, yeah, I really need to learn more about Docs, you could click on this link and go right to Docs. And there's a cheat sheet. You can learn about switching to Docs from Microsoft Word, learn about working with templates, collaborating in documents, all this. So it breaks it down by product. Okay, and again, that link will be emailed to you, and it comes from GoToWebinar, GoToMeeting, whatever we're in, and it'll say, like, thank you for attending yesterday's webinar, and then that link will be in there. So, okay, so we talked about Google Docs, which is the equivalent of Microsoft Word. So let's now talk about Google Sheets. So I'm going to click on New back in my Drive, and I'm going to go to Google Sheets. Again, I could type the shortcut of sheets.new. And poof, here's what we have. We have a blank spreadsheet. So again, it looks and works extremely similarly to Microsoft Excel. There are a couple different things, but they're pretty easy to figure out. But all the formulas work the same. The things that are different are pretty minor, and they're more advanced Excel/Sheets things. So if you are a proficient Excel user, and I know I all the time will use the feature in Excel of remove duplicates and have the system remove duplicates for me automatically. That option isn't under here the way it is in Excel, so there's actually a formula you use to do that instead. So if you're working in Sheets, and this happens more in Sheets than the others, and there's something you know how to do in Excel and you can't figure out where to do it in Sheets, if you just Google it, like literally go to google.com and type in how do I such and such in Sheets, you will get step-by-step instructional guides and help. So don't be afraid, or don't think that you can't do the same thing in Sheets that you can in Excel. You typically can, you just kind of have to find it. So just like with Excel, I can have multiple tabs in a workbook or multiple sheets in a workbook. I can easily rename these, make copies of them, move them to other workbooks, or make a copy in another workbook, anything I need to do. So Sheets is something you might be using if you're working with like a database. I can give column headers, I can bold, I can resize, I can sort, I can do everything I need to do within here. Or budgeting, people use Excel a lot for that. You can do that same thing in Sheets. Okay. And don't forget, guys, if you have questions as we're going along and looking at these various products, just type them in that questions panel in your kind of side panel, or it might have moved for users, the top or bottom, and type those in. Aha, yes, good question, actually. We just had a question come in of, can you import a CSV file into Sheets? Yes, thank you for asking that, Grace, because I kind of forgot to address that in Docs as well. So you can import and export or do a save as from Sheets, Docs, and Slides. Most of the time you're doing it from Sheets and Docs, so we'll talk about that. So if I have a spreadsheet here in Sheets, I can export it. Let's give it a name, because that'll bug me. So if I go to File, Download As, and then I can choose as an Excel file, as a PDF, or as a CSV. Those are the ones you're going to use most of the time. And then you would be doing that typically because you need to export, your contacts into a CSV to then upload to some site for making mailings. I don't know, whatever it is. So yes, this would export as a CSV. And then I can also do the reverse. So in order to import that CSV, I can either back in my Google Drive, say File, Upload, and downloads. There's my test for training. That is a CSV because I just exported it as a CSV. So, all right, so right now it's previewing that upload. It's just letting me look at it. But I can, right up here at the top, say Open with Google Sheets, and it will convert it into a Google Sheets. Same thing if it was an Excel document. So if you already have a CSV file that lives on your computer, again, just upload it into Google Drive, click on it to open it, and you can view it, or you can say Open with Google Sheets. It'll make the Google Sheets copy of it. Same thing with Docs. If I have a Word doc, so a document that's saved as DOC, or it's DOCX sometimes, I can load that into my drive and then open it and say Open in Docs, or I could take this and download it as a Microsoft Word doc or a PDF. Those are going to be the two most common. So yes, you can go both ways. It's not 100% perfect. I will just give you that warning. It's pretty darn close though. Sometimes, especially like in a Word doc, or going from a Google Doc to a Word doc, if you have like heavy formatting or lots of pictures added, that takes a little bit of formatting adjustment. Excel, I've actually had almost complete success, knock on wood, but just heads up to always open that document whichever way you're going and check it before you do anything else with it. Okay, so that is Google Docs, Google Sheets, and then the last one is Google Slides. Slides is the equivalent of Microsoft PowerPoint. So again, to create a slide, I can just type slides.new, or I can go back to like my my Gmail or some other Google product I'm in and click on the waffle and go to slides. And that takes me to my slides homepage, and then I can make a new slide from here or open one that I've already made. So I just clicked on start a blank one. And again, just like with everything else that we've talked about, slides looks and feels pretty similar to Microsoft PowerPoint. Honestly, I'd say this is the one where there's the biggest difference as far as what you are used to doing in PowerPoint and trying to figure out how to do it here. I have had a few more limitations as far as some of the stuff with images. You can absolutely insert an image. I'm trying to remember what exactly I ran to where I was like, oh, I can't do that. I don't remember right now because honestly it was one of those like, oh, bummer, but it wasn't a breaking point, so I moved along. But this probably feels the least like it's comparable of PowerPoint than the others do, but it still, again, works the same, is going to feel similar enough that you shouldn't have too big of a hurdle if you're trying to transition over. So I can add new slides, I can have different slide layouts, I can apply a template, I can add text and images to slides, I can do bullet points, all of that. I can present it at the top. I can leave notes to myself and then present it and have the notes viewed on my computer, do all that fancy stuff that PowerPoint can do. So check out slides for sure. With all of these, with slides, docs, and sheets, so again, the advantage is that number one, you don't have to pay for Microsoft, but number two, this presentation is always with you. So if you're on the go and you lose your jump drive that had your presentation on it, well, but if you have it saved in Google Drive, or if you have it as a Google slide, you can just log in, hopefully wherever you're going to your presentation has Wi-Fi, and there's your presentation. It's also really nice because, again, people always have the most current version. So our instructors that we have come in and do our new agent training, LEAP training with us, everything is in slides. So if then they make an update, we have the current version. They don't have to email it to me. They don't have to remember to bring it. We don't have to make sure which version's what. It's just we're working off one version, okay? And yes, you can upload an existing PowerPoint into slides as well. And again, that is the one that I've had probably the most, I hate saying the most issues with as far as going from PowerPoint to slides, because that sounds really negative. But it's true. So that requires sometimes a little bit more just double checking of the file, making sure that like bullet points are still where they should be. But again, it's typically on presentations that are like really heavily formatted. So if you've added lines, places to like emphasize stuff, and lots of pictures and multi-layers of bullet points, 4 deep, you might need to go double check that. But it typically just a little bit of adjusting, and then you're good to go moving forward. So while PowerPoint to slides is what I've had more problems with than the others, I mean, I'd still say the success rate of it happening completely seamlessly is like 85%, where I don't have to do anything if someone sent me a PowerPoint and I need it in slides. Maybe even higher than that, I'm being generous, okay? All right, so Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides, the equivalent of Microsoft Word, Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. We really want you guys to check these out because, again, they're free. The collaboration feature of them is great, and just they're so user-friendly. All right. Another Google Suite product that you might not know about, but that's one of my favorites, is Google Keep. So again, I went back to my Gmail, I clicked on my waffle, and here's Google Keep. If you're following along on your computer, it might be down like in the more, I don't remember if I moved mine up or not, but look for it. Or on your browser, you can type in keep.google.com. Google Keep is your to-do list, but like on steroids, but not in a scary way. So the reason I really love Google Keep is that it is, or it can be, very basic. So whether I'm on the app on my phone or here on my web browser, as soon as it loads, just take a note. It's already there ready for me. I can click on checkboxes, and it's going to give me a new list of to-dos like this, of like maybe my Monday agenda is webinar, and I need to go to the grocery store, and pick up kid from school. I don't know, I don't have kids. Maybe you have to remind yourself, maybe you don't. Whatever, you have a whole list of things to do, and it's making these check boxes. There it is, I clicked out of it, so it just kind of completed my notes. But I can check those items off. I can uncheck them. I can add new items. I can, if I want to start getting fancy with it, I can remind myself. I can give myself a reminder at a certain time or based on location, if I have the app on my phone. I can add a collaborator. So I do this frequently with my husband. I'll put like our grocery list in Keep, and so we can both add items to it as they're needed, or if he ends up going to Kroger before me, he has that list. He can't say he didn't know what to get. Christy and I use it all the time in the training department, especially as we're prepping for an upcoming event. We'll have all of our outstanding to-dos, and then whoever does it, you mark it off. So you don't have to be sending text message after text message saying, hey, did you remember to do this? Did you get these things? You just open up your Keep list. If it's marked off, someone did it. I can color code. I can add labels to my notes the same way you add labels in your Gmail, so I could then find all my notes with a certain label. I can add images. I can do a voice note. I can draw. I can do all this type of stuff. And then this is newer. I can even copy it to Google Docs. So sometimes a Keep note will start off small as ideas, and then suddenly I'm like writing a whole email in there. That's fine. I can then copy that into Google Docs with the click of a button and be able to format it or do something more with it if I need to. So yes, you can absolutely share the to-do list, and that's one of the best features. I also really like the reminding. So this, like I said, this can be very basic. It's not scary at all. So download the app and check it out and just start making these little notes to yourself. But you can then take it further and start doing reminders and adding a collaborator and color coding and doing all these cool things. So that's why it's that to-do list on steroids. And when I'm talking about the app, this is a prime example of download the Google Keep app. So it's just going to work so much better on your mobile device instead of going on your web browser to keep.google.com. Download the Google Keep app. Okay, I think probably our last little part of Google, of the G Suite to look at, available to you, and there's so much more available, but these are kind of the most frequently used ones, would be Google Forms. So forms are kind of just what they sound like, forms. They're questionnaires, they're surveys, they are order forms, response forms, whatever you need. You can actually do a whole lot with them. It takes a little bit to kind of wrap your brain around what they can be used for, but once you start using them, I think you're going to find a whole bunch of uses for them. So we use them definitely to do surveys. We do surveys with all of our LEAP classes where we get their feedback. We do surveys after our CE classes, and so creating a form in Google Forms is how we do that. It's really easy. So here's one form that we did for our CE event last year for one of our sessions. You can quickly make edits. So if you see a typo later, you can quickly correct it. I can see how many responses we've gotten. I could add a question at the last minute. Anything I need to do. I'm going to go ahead and just quickly make a new form so you can kind of see what that looks like. I'm going to click on the plus sign at the bottom. Here's my new form. You give it a title, and you start putting in your questions. So a lot of the time, it'll start with like your name because you want the responder's name. But if you just saw what happened, Google switched the response type automatically based on the question I typed. So it's thinking for you. It's one less thing you have to do. Sometimes I have to adjust it, but not very often. So how would you rate this house? on a scale of 1 to 5. And Google adjusted it to this linear scale. I can put in what my range is, and then I'm going to tell them, okay, 1 is it's horrible, and 5 is it's amazing, I want to buy it. And then the person taking the survey would be able to answer anywhere in between. I can mark questions as required. I can duplicate a question if it was like something with a lot of choices that are going to be used again, so I don't have to type this all out again. I can add images. You can do whole different sections in questionnaires. So we will do that where we say, all right, are you currently using your Tucker email as your primary email? Yes. Then it takes you to this next part of a survey. And if you say no, boo, it's going to take you to this part of a survey that we ask why you're not using your Tucker email, something like that. So different sections within surveys. I can change the color. I can do some like fun stuff with adding an image for part of the background. Same thing with everything else we've talked about. I can add a collaborator so someone else can work on this with me or at least see the responses. I have a preview button so I can see what it looks like as the person taking it, just kind of check and see how things are going. And what's really cool is if I go to responses, I can connect them to a spreadsheet, to a Google Sheet. So as responses come in, it's adding them to a spreadsheet. Let me see if I have an example. I don't want to use the CE one because that's going to take forever. Let's look at this one. So this is one of our LEAP surveys. And if I go to responses, I can see there were 10 responses. I'm on the summary view right now, so it's just showing me overall what everyone said. Or I can switch it to individual responses and view what a specific person said. Or if I click on the sheets, then I've already connected it to my sheet, which all you do is click that same button I just did, and if there wasn't a sheet already, it'll make one for you. But I can view everything in spreadsheet format here. So if you're trying to capture, let's say, open house attendees, and you just have them fill in name, email, do you want to receive information about this house, yes or no, how would you rate this house, whatever, 1 to 10, you can put all those in a spreadsheet and then quickly go, oh, hey, look, the average was 4.6, great, or the average price is this, or now that I have your information in a spreadsheet, I'm going to upload that to our vendor, our CRM vendor, and have them put all this contact information that I just collected in. So the options, once it gets into Sheets, are endless, and that connection between a Google form and Sheets is seamless. For sending out the survey, it's really easy. You hit send, and then how do you want to send it? I can send it via email right here, and I can type in my email address of who it should go to. I can include the form in the email. If you choose this method, I do recommend you do that just because studies show that if the questions are already there in front of someone, they are much more likely to start responding instead of if they have to click on a link first. So there's option 1. I just type in my email addresses here, subject, message, there we go. The second option here is with a link. So I can copy this link, or I can shorten it and copy that link. And then maybe I want to write up an email that says, and that's what we do with our LEAP class. We send them an email saying, hey guys, thanks for a great day 7. Here are some key points for you to remember from these presentations. Next week, we're going to be talking about XYZ. Please complete our day 7 survey. Click here to do so. And then that here is what's linked. And you can even embed it. So if you have like a website or you just want to get fancy with this, this is the embedded code for it that you would copy and paste. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. If you know what I'm talking about, then this is where it is. Okay? So those are my methods, or I can share via Facebook and Twitter. Twitter would be weird, but again, it's probably it's going to be the link that says click here to complete my survey. So forms is one of those, again, you might not think you're going to use it very often because how many surveys are you really doing? But think about ways you can use it maybe at open houses, or what we have it set up for in the CRM is collecting, this is actually what you have, it's the seller questionnaire. So this is something that you can send to your clients and have them fill out. And this is talking about different sections. It goes on to the next section, so it's not a 300-question survey that they're scrolling through going, this is going to take forever. They don't know how many questions it is because it's not going to show you all of them at once. So just think about ways you might be able to use Google Forms even outside of work. You know, everyone has life going on, and you might have a use for this for your kids' sign up for soccer or whatever. So just know that this is here, and again, it's available to you through your Tucker G Suite. So that was Google Forms. Okay, so that was a lot that we went over. Let's kind of do the quick highlights. In your Gmail, number one, make sure you have your Gmail signature set up and you know where Vacation Responder is for when you need to use it. And again, I recommend that you also turn on the undo send and take a look at that reply versus reply all automatic setting. All of that is in your settings in your Gmail. After that, we talked about Google Drive and using that, how it's unlimited cloud-based storage within Google Drive. You can upload any type of document. You can share individual documents. You can share folders. You can change permission levels of what you're sharing, using starred items for your frequently accessed things like that. And then we went into Google Docs, Sheets, and Slides, which are the equivalent of Microsoft Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, and how you create those either from your Google Drive or from typing in that shortcut docs.new, sheets.new, whatever in your web browser, and how those work and how those look and what you can do in them. And again, just I can't emphasize enough the collaboration piece, especially in Docs and Excel. Okay. We talked about Google Keep, your to-do list on steroids. This one, I think, is like the most fun game changer. So make sure you download that app on your phone. And then Google Forms as well. And all of these, you can type in the shortcut of, forms.google.com would take me to this landing page, or I can click on my waffle and find Forms, Keep, Docs, all of those options here. And then last but not least, well, it wasn't really last, it was kind of in the middle, but because we went over so much stuff and maybe you knew most of it, but you want to focus on Google Keep because it really is awesome and you hadn't heard about it, awesome. Download the app for sure, check it on your computer, but then check out this G Suite Learning Center, and that link's going to come to you tomorrow, and you can learn by topic. So you can kind of break down your learning from there. All right, so that is your G Suite basics, maybe a little bit more than basics, but that is kind of an overview of some of the key products available to you in G Suite. I'm going to stick around. We've had some questions come in that I'm going to answer, so if you haven't had your question answered yet, just hang tight. I will shoot you a reply in a second. And if you have any additional questions, feel free to shoot those over either by email or within the chat window of the webinar. And also, don't forget, we do have office hours every Friday, almost every Friday, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., so you're welcome to stop by and ask any questions then, or just say, okay, show me this Google Docs thing again. Okay? Again, yep, I'll be sticking around for questions. Thank you so much for spending a beautiful afternoon with me when you could have been outside. I really appreciate it, and I hope you learned something. So have a good one, everyone.